Hey everyone, and welcome to my ENGR111 software tools for engineers. This video will start a new topic, MathCAD. MathCAD is an amazing software. It's easy to use. I call it like a computer calculator that we use in our engineering solutions. And I'm gonna show you a little bit how we use it, and we're gonna spend these couple of weeks to learn how to use MathCAD and solve questions using MathCAD. MathCAD is an amazing, easy software. We won't spend much time working on it because it's very straightforward, and you guys as engineers, experts with using software, you're gonna find it so simple. So before I start my presentation, and I have this presentation on your eCampus, before I start this presentation, I want to show you now what are the different versions of MathCAD, what is the MathCAD we'll be using in class, but we have other options which are very similar. So if we go to the start button, and we're gonna find MathCAD in two pieces in your lab. But if you download MathCAD, you're gonna probably download and install one kind of MathCAD. I'm gonna tell you the difference between both. MathCAD is created by a company called PTC. So if we go under the letter P, you're gonna find here the word PTC. This is just some diagnostics tools, don't worry about it. And then PTC MathCAD. And we have two versions of MathCAD. MathCAD Prime, and that's one line of different versions, which is some kind of an express type of MathCAD. And if you go under M in your lab, you're gonna find here MathCAD 15. I'm gonna open both and show you the difference between both. Let's start here with MathCAD 15. MathCAD 15 seems like more like the complete software, and it will open in a minute. And also let's start MathCAD PTC MathCAD. So it seems I'll have to get to the license throughout campus. Well, doesn't matter, because we're gonna work with MathCAD Prime. So this was my plan, to work in class with MathCAD Prime, but in the lab I will show you how to use MathCAD 15. So again, let's go under P, and under the folder PTC MathCAD, I'm gonna click this one here. Usually MathCAD, it takes a bit time to load, but it will start loading. In the lab, I'm gonna show you how we work with MathCAD 15. My computer here, probably it's not updated. I need to go back to campus and update that with the new MathCAD 15. I personally use more MathCAD Prime, because you will see how simple it is. You can see the simplicity of the different tabs. So the presentations that I'm going to post also online on your Blackboard eCampus will include some pictures from MathCAD 15. However, they are completely the same. You're going to find that MathCAD Prime is much simpler than MathCAD 15 in terms of just the menus and the ribbon. So you can see here, similar to Excel and similar to all the software now, we have a quick toolbar which has open, new, save, back, and so on. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different tabs in your ribbon. So we have a ribbon. We're going to mainly use all these parts in the main math, which is called Math ribbon. Also, we're going to talk about input and output, how we can input and output all types of files and read them. So you can see here, you can see the read Excel. We can now connect it also to Excel. And then MathCAD, also like Excel, has a complete library of functions, different types of functions in engineering. And here we're more inclined towards engineering work. If you remember, in Excel we had other different disciplines, statistics, we had, remember our loan table when we did some economics, management, and different stuff. Here we do have statistics, of course, but here it's mainly, if you look at the functions, and if I click here, all functions, going to open on the side here a huge library of mathematics, physics, trig, statistics as well, and different kinds of functions that we will use in these couple of weeks. And then matrices. Remember in your math class when we dealt with tables and matrices? MathCAD is an amazing tool to help you with your math class. If you're still taking guys math classes, then MathCAD is an amazing helper in solving your math questions. And then plots. Plots is probably one of the shortcomings of MathCAD. The plots are very, very basic and very it's not like we had in Excel. It's so basic. It's not very user friendly, and it's very hard to read. So we will focus definitely on plots, but not that much like you think. And then do some formatting, and like we did number formatting in Excel, we have different formats to express the numbers. Now we have also some kind of units when we do the math formatting. And then since we're going to do lots of outputs as well, we can change the text formatting. And then we do lots of calculations and what type of document you are working with and the output you have. So you can output your work in different kinds of documents, and you want also to fix the document here, how will it look like. And finally, some resources in case you want to learn more about this software. The resources here is like the help tab for that. We're going to mainly focus on math, functions, matrices, plots, and formatting as well. So let's get back to my presentation and tell you what's MathCAD about. Okay guys, you remember when you are doing your homework and you have here let's imagine this example here. You have a cylinder, and the cylinder here has dimensions. You have some dimensions, some radius and height, and it has water in it, and you wanted to calculate the volume of this cylinder, and also you want to calculate the mass of water in that cylinder. So is this how you do it? And when you do your physics or your math questions, you put here some inputs with units, and you calculate. You put your calculator, and for example, you calculate your pi times r squared once you figure out the units are correct, and then h, and then you calculate the volume, and then you calculate the mass by multiplying it by rho, and this will give you the answer to your question. This is how you do it in your all your homeworks in other disciplines and other subjects. We're going to do the same, exactly the same, with the help of the computer here in Excel, in MathCAD. And even if you look here in MathCAD, the sheet looks exactly like your engineering homework green sheet, the one you use in solving your math classes. So the MathCAD enables you to write, display any kinds of work, equations, expressions, the same way you write them in paper. And when I mark for example, your math question, if I found one line before the other, I will assume you did it right and you didn't find space, but the computer will not do that. So here you need to put some kind of logic when you write your lines. So this is an example of writing the mass of water. So this is how it looks like. This was MathCAD 14, an earlier version of the one we have right now. MathCAD you can see it's very similar. It's more like a menu type. Here we have a ribbon type in MathCAD Prime. So this is your main typing area where you can go ahead and type whatever you want, and the computer will try to figure out what you're typing. And you notice here, once I started typing, it will add some stuff. So let me create the same example that we did when we want to create a cylinder. So let me do it with you. Like we did in Excel, we have variables. Yes, we did have variables. Variables are a letter that used or had a number. We're going to do more of these variables in VBA, but we did it very, very little in Excel when we did some. Our variable was mainly the address of the equation. We didn't use a variable like we do in math, but we can use a variable. So let's say r is the radius of the cylinder, and I say here r. So this is r, when I put here equal, and equal in MathCAD, when I learned 3 different types of equals, I'm gonna put it this way. Sorry, R equal. I didn't, when I probably show you this in the lab, when I type this equal, and I can put it here under operators, is that we have different types of equals. Let me see here, definition, evaluation. We have here one equal, and this is how we type it, by typing a colon, this equal, which we call the first one is definition, when you want to define a variable. The second one is evaluation, when you want to calculate something. Global definition, I'm going to tell you what's that in a minute. And finally, we have symbolic evaluation. My version of this MathCAD doesn't support this one, but I will show you also in the lab. So we're going to mainly deal with this today. So here we're going to say R equals, I want to find a value that this variable will take. So I'm going to put here 2, like we did in our example before. And I can also, there's the beauty about MathCAD also, to add units. So you can see here under units, I can figure out what units I have. In my presentation, I put units here as, so it's length units. It was in meters, this one here, but let's put it in feet, just to change here R. So it's R in 2 feet. So I've here defined the value of R as 2 feet, and the computer will know that as a variable, like you do your math questions, and we'll do it in VBA as well. Let's also define the height, H. Let's put it 2 letters, HI, for height. We can use letter numbers, and the computer will define this as a variable. It has to start with a letter though. And again, I'm going to type a colon, and it will put this equal, and let's see here 5. And now let's change a little bit my units. Instead of using length of feet, let's put this in meters. Can you use mixed units? Yes, I can. And then I'm going to type enter. So here R equals height. Let's calculate the volume. So when I want to define also a volume, I'm going to create a new variable called volume. And again, equals. And here I'm going to define the volume not as a number, as an equation. And the computer also will try to figure out what is the units of my volume. So here V for volume, or you know what, let's put it like this, volume, and my volume is equal to pi. Well, can we create a pi? Let's figure it out here, and this is everything you want to add to your MathCAD. So here I'm going to go here to constants. Is there a pi? And once I put my cursor on pi, it's going to tell me if there is a shortcut for it, a keyboard shortcut. So it's P Control G. So I'm going to do it with you. So I'm going to type here P and then Control G. It's going to turn into a pi. So it's pi times R. If you want to do square, you can go here in operators and figure out, do we have some kind of a square? Yes, I do here, exponential, and it tells me the shortcut for it is again Shift 6, which is the cap here. It's going to create an exponential, exactly like we do in Excel, and I'm going to do also in VBA. So here are square, and now I want to move away from this square. I just type the right space. It's going to move now to the next, and you see here it tells me what you want to enter next. I'm going to put another pi and then HI. So now it's stored the equation on the right as volume on the left. If I want to calculate now, see what the volume is going to be, and also figure out what are the different units for that. So I'm going to go here volume, and instead of typing now this column to define, I want to evaluate. I want the computer to calculate the volume for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and type equal by default, and here this is what we call here the base systems. It's the default systems where I can change. So if I click here, I can change this to base units. So here's by default it's the SI units, and I can change this to the British units, the one you know, cubic feet, or I can change it something called CGS, in which is centimeter units. So I can do it differently. So this is the volumes. If you notice, once I did that before, like when I started this, it just calculated these in liters. So once you change the units, the number will change. So if I go here and I have units of volumes, I go here, so I have volume. Let's see, look here, back to liters, and click enter. It's gonna calculate these in liters. So you see how now simple it is. It's just typing, adding your units, and notice something, guys. Units are always in this dark navy color. So if you want to know what's the difference between the regular units and your regular variables, the variables here are in black and the units are in navy blue. Also, one thing, let me teach you one thing today before I'm gonna keep this video very short, because I'm gonna make very short videos about this. Let's say that you're doing homework number 7 or homework number, this exercise 9 in this case. So you can add a text block or a text box. Let's figure out what's the difference between both. So here I want to put here text, and put it here. And I can move wherever text I have, guys, anywhere I like. So where is the text box? And I can say here exercise. When I enter the text, it is not evaluated as math, so it's just some text. Exercise 9, introducing MathCAD. Okay. If I want to enter text box here, you see how it's a little bit bigger. So and why does it move it? Because here, let's just put it. You can see here the text box can go anywhere. Let's move it this way, and let's say here ENGR111 software tools for engineers, and I can fix the size of it. Later on I can go to my text formatting and change the font, make it bigger, make it bold. I can go here, make this bold, exactly like we did in Excel. Also, you can move everything now, so I can move this below here, and I can move it further below, and I can move now my text up here. So you can see now I can move. Let me show you something that once I move will create an issue. If I move this guy here, you're gonna notice that something will happen. It's gonna give me an error. This red borderline error. It tells me that once I click on it, it tells me this variable is undefined. However, I did define it, but the computer here is so stupid. It reads it line by line. It doesn't see this guy here. It doesn't see this HI. Once I put it back, the computer reads it line by line. So now it defined HI and it was able to calculate the volume. Again, if I put the R's here, also it's going to give me an error in both calculating the volume and also finding the R. Can I fix this problem? Yes, you can. So instead of the equal that we created, if you remember, I introduced another kind of equal under operators, which is this guy, global equal. You can have a shortcut by Control plus Shift plus this cap here. So don't worry about it, you can just put it here. So once I click enter now, so now it's called global. What's the meaning of global? The computer will read it first. As simple as it is. So it's going to go first. Well, now I see a global, I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to read HI equals 5, and then I'm going to calculate the volume, and then it operates the volume. So this is just an introduction of some of the different parts of using MathCAD. What we'll be doing this week is going to learn a little bit about what's math. We're going to find ways to solve using some operators, different operators, statistical operators, and different operators in PTC MathCAD. And then you can also add lots of symbols, especially when you're doing, for example, something with Greek symbols, and you want to enter this as variable. So I can say here, for example, let's go here, symbol, I can say here beta is equal to 29. So my variable can be also a specific symbol. I can use this symbol also to calculate, put it in equation. What's the difference between these and letters? No difference at all. It's just a way for you to do a professional type of solving questions using different variables and letters. We're going to talk about programming later, and then we have some constants. Some constants here. You can see here some infinity, e, pi, different constants that you use in different physics, in math. And then we're going to talk about symbolics next week once we finish our introduction in MathCAD. So by this, guys, I end my short video about using MathCAD. In the next video, we're going to be doing some calculations and using how to use units for you guys to be able to solve your exercise in MathCAD. So have a great day, guys, and see you in class soon.